Hello, my name is Mage and welcome to Black and White Thinking. Or welcome back. Today's video is going to be some thoughts and feelings of mine on Harley Quinn Season 3, Episode 4. I'm going to assume if you're watching this video that you have seen the episode, but spoilers, warning, if not. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. It will literally change my life. Thanks as always, let's do this. So overall, I really actually enjoyed this episode. I think there were some really important moments, specifically for Harley and Ivy's relationship, and the whole thing was kind of just, I don't know, it was a fun episode. I enjoyed it. As I said a few weeks ago, the Court of Owls was in fact a gimmick, or at least just a stone to jump off from one plot point to another. I know it will annoy a few people that the Court of Owls was used like that, and not as a big, overarching, creepy plot, but such is life, unfortunately, and it doesn't surprise me in this show in any way, shape or form. So the things I loved this episode were many, in no particular order. Frank telling Ivy that she was being a little bitch was great, because she was being a little bitch, and this whole scene was a read, on her end, on my end. This was a good scene, and this episode did really well to kind of focus on developing some of Ivy's emotional maturity, of which she has very little. These first couple of episodes of the season have done what I wanted them to, even if they haven't necessarily done them how I would have done it personally, which is kind of focus on building a solid foundation for Harley and Ivy's relationship, especially one that will be believable for the non-believers. You know, for the non-shippers who are watching a Harley Quinn show and not watching a Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy show. A lot of us will just show up, right? In order for Harley and Ivy to be taken seriously by the so-called norms, it's important to build a storyline that people can trust, and quite often that is skipped over in Harley and Ivy content. Again, another story for another day, but I appreciate that the show has been focusing on laying this solid foundation for their relationship where they talk their shit out pretty instantly and get on with it. More on that in a minute. I loved the band, and I really hope we see more of that. It would just bring me joy, please. Everyone enjoyed that, right? I really enjoy that this episode, and more specifically kind of just the show overall, has been focusing on the fact that Dr. Pamela Isley is a botanist, scientist, and a doctor. She is a Dana Scully-ass STEM queen, and this is never focused on enough in Ivy's stories. It's really nice to see Ivy being a scientist. She's adorable, she's a nerd, and she looks like a damn troll doll, and I don't know, it's just really refreshing to see an Ivy that is both caked in her kind of original trauma and allure and anger against the world, as well as an Ivy that is also at the same time a total fucking dork. This depiction of Ivy, the one in this show, is so special to me in so many different ways. I know that it's a comedy, so it's never going to be perfect. It will always be hard to tell Poison Ivy's story through simply a comedy platform. Kind of the same with Harley in my opinion, but it's pretty damn close to perfect. Lake Bell really helps. I said this last review, but it really shows that Lake is a voice actor and not just an actor. Her ability to convey emotion without ever having to see her face is incredible. And she does such a good job as Ivy. She's just got such range, and we don't deserve her, like I said. There were multiple moments, by the way, in this episode that just completely caught me off guard and really made me laugh for no fucking good reason. And Harley reading Haruki Murakami on an anime toilet is top tier. Yeah, that was just fucking brilliant. And again, another total fucking read by this show. I hate how much I love Dad Joker, because again, and I've said this, I don't want to like a Joker in a Harley Quinn show. I like the Joker a lot. He's one of my favourite characters in DC history, and kind of complicated because I also love Harley. I like him as Batman's formidable greatest foe, right? I like Joker playing that specific role. I like Joker and Batman. Joker and Batman is one of my favourite relationships in all of fiction, probably. I much prefer the Joker when he's not around Harley, annoying her, or at least not too consistent. And I think Harley content would do well to have less Joker in it. That doesn't mean I want less Joker content, I just want Harley content to be less Joker focused. And boy do I, side note, have some thoughts about Folly Ado as a Gaga and Harley stan. But that will be later. I've got a whole other video coming about that, so if you want to know my thoughts on Gaga Harley, they're coming. But yeah, I don't want to love a Joker in a Harley show, right? Because I'm not here for the Joker, I'm here for Harley. That was a quicker way to say it, and I should have just said that from the beginning. But I love Dad Joker, I love Tudyk. I also kind of like that this show has given Joker room for growth and Harley and Joker's relationship room for growth, because it's kind of the type of relationship that has no room for that usually. He's so abusive that there's no coming back from that. And look, don't get me wrong, this Joker still owes Harley a fucking apology. And if this was the real world, he would be unforgiving, but it isn't the real world. So I do appreciate this kind of level of growth that we have between, say, season 1, episode 1, Harley, Ivy and Joker here, to like season 3, Harley, Ivy and Joker here. Growth, again. And I'm not usually into the growth in these type of situations. I don't think it's necessary, but yeah, growth. A few other things, really like Bruce's shadow just being his cow. There's a really nice, fine, stupid detail that's just good. I like it. I love the use of Batman in this show. It's very subtle and stupid. DC don't often let Batman be stupid, and I know they're quite controlling of this Batman in the show. Colourlinger scene is a great example of that, but they're still letting them be a little bit more free than Batman usually is for the sake of comedy, and I'll take it. So yeah, back to the main point, which, let's be real, this is the thing you all want me to talk about. Harley, Ivy and Catwoman. Told you they fucked. We all knew that. We all knew that a long time ago. I'm pretty sure I say it in my original Harley Quinn animated series video, which is like 2 years old now, and I haven't watched it in a really long time, so if I don't say it there, someone correct me. We've been talking a long time about the fact that any queer person with a queer eye will be able to tell that Catwoman and Ivy hooked up. It was blatantly written into season 2, to the point where it felt kind of weird that they didn't explicitly say it. Because, okay, when you make LGBT media, especially in like the modern era, it can be really hard to walk this line of holding straight people's hands and holding gay people's hands, right? And I guess I'm bi, so I can see both sides. But for real, there can be this thin line between explicitness for the sake of explicitness and closeting queerness, right? And this situation is a great example of that. So the Catwoman-Ivy relationship was very much, if you want to see it, you can see it. It was very obviously written into season 2, but because the writers hadn't said it explicitly, and it's a relationship between two women, a lot of people were able to deny it, because people will deny homosexuality, bisexuality, they will render it invisible if it is often not explicitly forced onto them. But this also leaves queer people in quandary, right? Because we don't owe anyone explicitness. And this show walks this line very well sometimes, not great other times, but it kind of fascinates me because the show is headed by two guys that identify as just cis-het dudes that like comics. I've always said this, and I don't know how they achieved it. I don't necessarily think it's on purpose. I think there is just an inherent kindness behind how they choose to write this story. Maybe that's it. But this show can be quite good at expressing kind of subtle, sometimes metaphorical queerness in a way that will really resonate with a queer audience, but will require a straight audience to think a little bit harder. I think that's my girlfriend just coming home. Anyway, yeah, that's my girlfriend coming home. Oh my god, it's possible.
Oh my god, babe! What? Did the queen find us? Do we need to finish her off? Start an international incident?
Okay, yeah, so where was I? So yeah, as much as this show is really good at subtle LGBT storytelling, God knows how, I think it was really important that they were explicit about Catwoman and Ivy, and I like the way they did it. I like that they took their time. By Sirens Forever, OT3. But also this adds like another level to both Selena's character and Ivy's character. It's important that this show kind of honours its queerness as well. I've said that before. This show could always do with more gay shit, especially gay shit that is not subtle. Again, because we all get the subtle stuff. But when a show wants to consider itself specifically representative of an audience, which the writers of this show have said they do, then you cannot just imply. You have to be explicit, which they were. So yay. All in all, I really like this episode. I don't have loads to say. When this season is over, I'm going to review the whole thing. Overall, as an overarching story, I think it will be more conducive. But yeah, really enjoyed the emotional depth of Ivy in this episode. Really enjoyed watching her struggle to be a human. That's always fun. Really enjoyed Harley's feelings taking centre stage and her not being dismissed. I think that's important. Couldn't tell you anything about the butt mole and prank. Honestly, I'm beyond guessing at this point. My money is that it isn't Psycho. And for that kind of grossness, I kind of feel like it should be Gordon, but it can't be Gordon, right? So, I don't know. This whole season already has me jumped up. I'm gonna leave it at that. Oh, actually, I forgot. The best part of this episode was Naked Bane. I want Bane so bad. He's really sexy in this for some reason. And he should call me. My name is Mage. These were some rambly thoughts. Thank you for being here. This was Black and White Thinking.